Yamamunyina ahaye makwa ba premo ato UTV so eni ye worship house Abeka Junction enkran ebre aso se omemu nsema yaboaboa na yede amanone de aka ho semufo asone so yede amaye no yede esom se kase this with chocolate drink cocoa papa ena yede aye dan de ohia nso eye ensohie afi your special ice nsuo ewodwa so ensuo na de papa special drinks flavors bebre malt nie cola strawberry ginger edros papa grapes nyina ene namu de onum bia nso no obeti eduaba kasankasa anunsuo ewom ene wo best point savings and loans and the best assurance omukita imu a yede ensem no emmamo yenhwe ensem a wo ba betie ebie omampanyi de futuo amma abibi manmu emmabunu ese womum pre ema amamuo panic memke bi enye dwuma na kuku ni soja amamuo de emma wonye entum kra aba beto dwase empanyimfo ede nhihye mapa emfie num enhyehyeye egu wo se de be ya empi wanyinsen obetumi aka eho asem yie ewo memma aba beto edwa wodi afutuo amagana mrahyebedyafo nyina se ewiase se etire ni tie enka yenka se abontensofo mefa nkodi da enti wakyerese omu nyina nka mom se ye NDC MPP na wonhwe wanim tin enema pa ebeboa ama oman no edinye amano ne ensem nso Ukraine wo mu kro Kiev amane bo ekyerese Russia kodie so wo mu sane ko no wo mu sane rough akyerese omu nimbo tai potinti a wo mu eyese ene bia wodi wani ankasa esie ensem bebre eka we hu making kind e the amount say kasie okinkan for eyemme obahima Afia Akyere Asiedu yentie ensem no enhyemu Amampanyi na nadu dankwa kufuado wakasa na wode afutuo ama Pan African Youth Union emmabunu ne mpanyimfo a wode dwumadie fofo ahye nsa se yede dwumadie ama wo mu yede agya wo mu nti yesoa wo ma anesa wo mu hwe so mbema kabima menkabi amamuo ede hini ewa bibiman amanyina eso na ma wo makwan ema soja amamuo ne kuku de enko wo mu etiri
Openye kwankyerefo wo no and the National Youth Authority ano ene pious enam hajide ono ene di Pan African Youth Union ekunanim edi won kopie o mampanyin atena ikesiem ekoda won ho adi ede kire Ghana mampanyin na Ghana mampanyin ka sayemo no ena wo kire mu a ekuna so di eda won so no emu odupa te sesebi Yesu Kristo asendua na wagye atum na wasi nkete so obeye ne die ene na wonyere won ho no ma bibire mama nyina no obia enti ase se asundwie ene di hene ewo bibia mu na watimi wakame abantugo aban memra so na so mepese medi ka ho okina koka watimi wakame ni nyina no ni nyina ebetumi abrase esanse se asumdwe wo ho no ma na bibrim yensu ebetumi ahyehye yeman eno akire no ena pious enam hajide ene Pan African Youth Union kuyi edane abode citation edima Ghana mampanyi kire mu aemmodin ba wabo ema asundwe ho nsem afa ne ntoma pade afira ewa bibrim eni wiase nyina
how to engender the peace and security of our continent, promote good governance in Africa, and of course as a result accelerate the development of our economies and improve the living standards of our people. These are the main issues before us in our generation. And you've been given a very important role in realizing this vision of Africa's future. We have to insist on good governance. We have to insist on democratic responsibility on our continent. We have seen what the eras of coups and military intervention did on our continent in our various nations. They didn't bring us the progress that we would have had. And so to preach the lessons, the virtues of democratic engagement, to preach the virtues of Africa being responsible and capable of promoting and defending its own interests, this is a very heavy responsibility that has been imposed on you. But I hear you, and I can discern from what I've heard from both of you in French and him in English, that you're up to the task. You'll have the support of this government and myself personally in whatever you're doing, so long as it is geared towards these goals.
The majority of African youth recognized the exemplary leadership that you provided on the continent and knew that Ghana would be able to reflect that disposition on the continent of Africa. So, Mr. President, I would use this opportunity once again to congratulate you for providing leadership and guiding us through this journey. And we want to assure you that we shall deliver on the mandate that we have been given in achieving the objectives of Agenda 2063 and the Africa we want. Thank you, Excellency.
Oswafo a wo hwe achire ewo enkoda ni nipa sistemu yedi asoye Honorable Cecilia Abnadapa e de ato dwase wo mo di emfie num hihye bi aba wo mo de behwe ama empewanyin sen eso ate.
If the ministry is aware that the Upper East region recorded the most teenage pregnancies in Ghana in 2020, and what the ministry is doing to ensure that the region does not record the 6,533 cases it did going forward.
The ministry is fully aware of the situation in the Upper East region and is implementing a 5-year strategic plan to address adolescent pregnancy in Ghana, and this was launched in 2018 to 2020. This is to remedy the situation. Also, the ministry, together with stakeholders, undertook the following initiatives to reduce the phenomenon. 1, we formed parent advocacy groups and trained parents as advocates to support the sensitization drive on preventing adolescent pregnancies. We formed a regional child protection committee, which meets quarterly to deliberate on interventions by various stakeholders in preventing adolescent pregnancies. We engaged traditional leaders in the districts on how to create awareness on sexual and gender-based violence, including abstinence among adolescents, to curb adolescent pregnancies. We trained queen mothers in mentoring adolescent girls on sexual and reproductive health rights, sex education, and abstinence, who serve, these queen mothers serve as mentors to the adolescent children. Adolescent youth, I should say. We also engaged the public through radio discussions on issues around adolescent pregnancy. We also embarked on school outreach programs to educate pupils and students on their sexual and reproductive health rights. People lure them. And who are these people? These are the questions that hard questions that we should ask ourselves. At the end of the day, there is a program by NGOs and other agencies that do supply some of these sanitary towels. But a phone, for me, is a different kettle of fish altogether. I thought the honorable member gave a few scenarios as to why these girls are impregnated earlier than necessary. And they are the hard facts. If there are any to add, we can add that. But primarily, people lure them. People lure them. Some are raped, some are defiled. Some are defiled by very close people, relatives, friends, teachers, etc., etc. So these are the hard facts that we must face. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Majority Leader no anso ye mrahye bedwani ewe futu Honorable Alexander Afenyo Markins wo de afutu mani nuanu mrahye bedwafo nyina se obi wodom kese ana edonkuma na fa ne hia won kamom no ma sumdwe mapa enye adwuma na empuntu enkoso mrahye bedwam adwuma.
The very few that come to mind for this purpose, Mr. Speaker, they made their name. If you go into Hansard, you will see the very great contributions they made to enrich our democracy and make Parliament attractive. Mr. Speaker, even now in this House, if you hear the voice of great men like Honorable Eric Opoku, our leader, Honorable Cheme Sabonsu, our first Deputy Speaker, Joe Asiedu, Mr. Speaker, their contributions leave you in no doubt that indeed this House is made of substance. Mr. Speaker, we have great advocates on this House floor who make their contributions, and I believe the time has come for us to compliment them and urge them on. So, Speaker, on a day like this, I want members to join me in celebrating the greatness of these patriots of our country.
Because, Mr. Speaker, a number of times as politicians, we say one thing and we try to do another thing. And I agree with him with almost all the points that he raised. And one of the things that I have said on the floor of this House, Mr. Speaker, is that why do we wait for one of us to be dead, and then when he's dead, then we come to this House to eulogize him or her? Why don't you cultivate the habit of eulogizing our living heroes, colleagues who have really contributed to the development of this parliament?
I want to suggest that we may probably have to institute a day like this where we will celebrate and recognize the rich contributions that members of parliament have contributed to the growth of parliament as an institution and the jurisprudence of legislation itself. We may have to find a day. I recall the former Right Honorable Akyere had suggested the institution of an award for deserving members of parliament. I don't know how this thing fizzle out. Probably leadership may have to engage further. That will be a source of encouragement for this House, for us to also put ourselves in readiness to reach the mark and also distinguish ourselves and lead and serve with true sense of credibility. It is appalling for you to see a fellow member of this House exiting and living a life of squalor and deprivation. Some of them exiting this House could not even take care of their own medical expenses. Some of them die in a very horrible state. Some of them will say, whilst we are working. Right now, Speaker, the demands on members of parliament makes it extremely difficult for members of parliament to sit down and critically do the right savings or pension schemes to be able to take care of them. In fact, when they have even exited this House, there are still pressures on them because the people on the ground there do not know the difference between a retired MP and a sitting MP. They will still come to you with their problems. So it is important that as we reflect on our contributions in this House, we must also start taking account of the life after this House and see what meaningful mechanism can we put in place to at least cushion members who exit this House and take on life after here.
Oswafo hwe afisem nsem eso Honorable Ambrose Derry na odi ato dwase emre bi a etwem na wokopiem obumpugu mensino emu a akonfo twetwe kokoro no bo papa enne bambo ho nsem ekomunt no yade a abafo.
In the past 2 years has reduced drastically. In 2020, only one robbery case was reported in the constituency, while in 2021, 5 were reported, and in 2022, thus far, 0 have been reported. The reduction in number of robbery cases resulted from proactive measures put in place to combat robberies and other violent crimes in the region. These measures include intelligence-led policing, mounting of police checkpoints, escort of commercial vehicles and market women to and from various markets, and organized swoops at criminal hideouts. The police administration will do all it can to ensure total reduction if not elimination, of armed robbery cases in the country. Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that the police have put in place really serious measures across the country, and I can assure you that we expect a reduction towards elimination and not otherwise. I can assure you that most of the nights I'm privileged to know what is happening. An honorable member of parliament, the police are really proactive now, and of course we need to acknowledge the cooperation and assistance of the parliament, the way we are supported anytime we bring requests as far as security is concerned.
Minority leader Honorable Haruna Idrisu Edia to dress and okwasem se okopiem e oboko e wo Upper East Mantam emua se de ntokwa asan yi niti wo ho no enya de a eni kakra o se eni kwanse mpanyufo fa boko asem tra wo ma wani enku wo nanka be ya bamba ho nsem bi entumi enkoso wo se we eye asema eda ho dadada nanso nano ade ya de a emu asan hwanyan ama akra ahwe wo enkwa ene ejapade a ase no enye anobi kra eni boko nsensem no hinsem ho apotwen ena eda ho wo se enna kakra enie enna ekuo bi ye se ohini bi owonya ne ba bi kro be se mfinhia aduanan e baako enie no omo koye na yi eno enna etuo ko kasae ema ekofa ojamom ebaye enu nti otwe mpanyufo adwene sisu se nokwasem enema enkoyie e oboko wonhwe na wontu eho anamo Osofo be de chiro hwensase ne oboade ne pa honsem eso eye Honorable Benito Owusu na ode ato dwa se Afia tikore atete apansam na omanfo no wache omo no aban se omo nchichi ne bi o mbe chichire na ombe ma bibie ma da ofan se de omampanyi ahye wo Osofo be de chiro hwensase ne oboade ne pa so onimonyamfo Benito Owusu ede ato adehia omo apiate enimu se corona ye chichire no ye beche edan no amobi anyane de pepepe na afenso emu ebeda wo fan wasese de aban akaso monye no sa pepepe enomo beye no wade nsemmoi atudwa ebra forestry commission meche abedwoku omo ahwe kwa yembretu so ede sika krata cheka eno 100,000 Ghana cedis na afenso enua eno ye beye empem ahanan 400,000 ekomo mo se yemfansi apiate kro ni bimu
se yebeda Ghana fo nyina se titru omo a omo ye moa ebre sika no yeda omo se so omde sika ne eba na yebesre yehia bebre enti bebre nsamra ona obia soso de obia de beba bia na yebeje ketua bia nso a ye reconstruction team na soso adwuma na yegu so mo amunim ekuru chichire ye ko chichire kuro no anya ade a yesase with one day na ewie say designs any other commitments say yebenya BBT infrastructure services akwan kania nsuo town planning for community water sa enkofo ina nyuma we ina ni akabom yedi etri yedi adwene ebua se de beye corona yebechichire no yebewie no na abehwe ebekwa akwakoye krabehwe efise sa no mampanyi ehwe ope no eni ya ye kase ade ehia te se de madam kan ye no eni se nsuo na ye tom yebetime yiye nuamo a omuti nsuo nim na afrim se omte tent mu na wonim tent no ya anya amase fatna nsuo mu nunti nsuo to bia ne na ye dwen omo ho ayetia ye company efe na FGR omo on completed structures bi ba ko 76 omo de amanya say ye mboso na ye maye nuamo nkwatena
kwanchefo Edema Forestry Commission Owura John Alutecheche ensemu
Forestry Commission ye wo on the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources yensu ye dua ho adwuma enti ye board meeting ye decided to have a support to a PAT support fund with 500,000 Ghana cedis 500,000 ye the 100,000 check about and meanwhile over the weekend you started a supply nuya among be see dino and na cost say near be supply be about 400,000 cedis into the municipal chief executive our Bogoso area are receiving Nuanibi over the weekend. Niakani in track alcohol. And ye be moment on be roofing any frames, door frames, and window frames, any doors. He never supply.
Asiedu hwe emma nipa sitem yedie ne ombamba ho nsem eso no wo mo ada 2022 International Women's Day no wadanadi ewo enkran.
Amansaka muko no anade march da to so nwotwe asiwo no musa yemfa nkan ma ewiase afana nyina eye International Women's Day ye kasa efesi kasem amanyosem eni abrabom mpuntu ho afi wedwumadie no asemtira edaso ene se ene ye boa ama ema agino munan so na daachi yama enema akoye enipa mu ayepemu ayeyetia ema ne enkoda no ye behwe ne yejai osoafo wo hwe akire wo asoya ehwe ema enkoda ne omanfo yedie so onimonyamfo Cecilia Bradapa and a quarter Jumadino Edi Ekasasi.
This year, the global theme given by UN Women is Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, with the campaign theme Break the Bias. The theme seeks to recognize the contribution of women and girls around the world who are leading the campaign for climate change adaptation, mitigation, and response to build a more sustainable future for us all. Ghana has adopted this theme as we celebrate the tremendous efforts by women and girls in shaping an equal future devoid of the negative impacts of climate change. Gender equality and climate change remain central to Ghana's development agenda, as indicated in the National Medium-Term Development Policy Framework for 2022 to 2025. The policy framework, among other key areas, addresses gender equality and climate change to promote reduction of deforestation, ensure gender equality, increase productive use of clean water, good energy, and safer environment.
Executive Director Emma National Commission on Culture, Janet Edna Nyame. Na wode afutuo ama Ghana fo nyina ese yenhye Ghana ntade yeni Ghana nuane na yenkasa no yenka.
I'll be very grateful if it is ensured that Ghanaian fabrics such as the smock, kente, wax prints, within batik tie and dye, among others, is worn at all state and international functions just to promote our own and our identity. Where Ghana has come to stay, and it is now embraced by individuals, youth, tourists, and corporate entities, to once again come your way with this annual event dubbed Where Ghana Festival under the theme Sustaining Culture to Create Employment Through Textiles, Fashion and Style. The annual festival often uses fashion to project and promote Ghana's cultural heritage, local textile industry, and encourage creativity in the fashion industry. The National Commission on Culture, as a cultural institution, promotes and ensure the growth and development of our culture and make them more relevant to human development. The Commission on Culture uses this festival to promote national identity and encourage institutions to patronize local fabrics and all fashion accessories. I want to urge all Ghanaians to patronize our colorful local fabrics and give a touch of kente, edinkra, etc. to complement foreign fabrics. Example, the clergy, doctors, lawyers, among others. Here, let me commend the Methodist Church. Over the weekend, I was in a church in Takoradi. All the priests were in white robes, but the kente, the stole that they put on have been well decorated with kente and adinkra symbols. That tells you that anywhere they find themselves, they are projecting the nation, even though they are in synthetic fabric, white plain one per se, but they've decorated such that it gives them the identity as Ghanaians. So here we are encouraging all to emulate that. We know that a lot of them are doing that. Those who are not doing that, please emulate it to help to project our identity.
Wei Executive Director of the National Commission on Culture ano Mami Janet Edna Nyame ono ena yetse ninkei. Yentoa ensem no esoe. Ohina wo gupegutua eye empotem bi ewo Tamale South eho ena ewo Alhaji Abu Isa Safian he no wode eto asoye hwe ehinsem ne amamre ho nsem so anim say wo mu edi dwuma bi ewo atifido mantam ede ma nanan mo hemfo badwa Northern Regional House of Chiefs no project no ache adaroma wo mu ka ja emu.
Chief Alhaji Isa Abu Safian ne ensentrofo di nkomo eno say baby nananom ahemfo betna edi asem ewo dagbon ne potemo no eho ayeden ede amawo enunti no omo srempenifo se eda no mu esi no mu nsi ntem no mu nti omo nsemfiri na emoa ema Northern Region nananom ahemfo enya baby ntina wakire se sedru anibere sunom pe baby edi asem a gese mangudua se no mokotena ya ade be ya ahomete papa enunti wode to osoafo na hwe ahensem ene ekoku ahodo no anim se yemra na eda na yesi ni yensinwie
I'll call on the Chief Minister Minister, whoever involved, any stakeholder, to look into that issue. The NGOs, why not? You can come and support government and pick it up where they left off. Find out and see where what the problem is for the edifice to get to its completion by the grace of God this very year. Other than that, it creates inconveniences and no idea flow. You know, our youth, they want information. So if you don't gather together at a particular place, which is our meeting place, the National House of Chiefs of Dagbang, and contribute ideas, how do you have the ideas for the youth to know that this is how Dagbang should be moving on? So once again, I call on all and sundry to support to the conclusion of this unique gathering place of our traditional rulers.
Yeko Ayawaso West na Ayawaso West Municipal Hall Directorate no womo any Roman Rage and Afia Covenant Chapel e wo Assemblies of God emo aka boma waye free health screening e de ama omanfo a North Jolu.
Yare ahodo ofiri amanfo fa ahoni bi ene malaria, hepatitis B, asichiri yare mujabroso ene ne keka ho na uwe yensoso no ma wondru SADP so enu achire no enu opanyina wada public health ano ewo Kolebu Teaching Hospital Dr. Philip Amo ekase chire mu a obi bia benyana na nka osoro fi ne keteso no na hoden wo ho na wokọ na wo ba na so niam ne hyehye wo se digu akwa mu apomodian fam na ya hoden ho nsem etim gyane na so chire ben te se abire chire dua na yatumi edi atrantwe de bia no yenye
ne anti ameka sense health system na fe say you pick it up mechanism say you pick it up and say you have system ni nyina no bo ho ye no touch and go to so be oyale malaria na doctor hwel lab hwel na chodo ama na ka chew say kofedro na ko enche bia 1 week 2 weeks 3 months maximum na wo ho ato but uni yare to say hypertension diabetes say yejuma a lifelong inti enye se doctor hu keke ana touch and go ni pano eso fedro for the rest of the person's life na enye easy edu sanade na sasa ni aye hu no ha ne se omuko hospital 2-3 months maximum na edu no sa asa na muti wo sa na pressure ye hu ha no enye fufuo ni benko aye twa wa ho a serious matter
na wona okọ ye kohwe wona pomudie ho nsem ne bi nso ene ye kasai
ya damase pa se o se Bible say ene ka wo bofo wo mranti birim ya damase se maka ayen mo ma menom me say nan say ya de ebo me nso minisika me de ko hospital nti me ba ye me benya du nti ya aseda nkuto ne ya de damo ewo mu anso a mo nsamra na mo me hwe yen
This is the second time that Assemblies of God have been doing this outreach program for the community. He did it for us some years back. Since he has come back, I think it's a laudable idea if he can continue doing it to help the community.
Enu achire no no so fupanyina wo no ene da Revival Restoration Center of Assemblies of God asori na no e Roman Rage. Apostle Alison Kroma enso ene ye kase chire mu sei.
Ye hwe mpatemi bia ohaw amani hunu atete ewo ho a omuni okamafuma obia a omo asetenemu eye omo asetenemu nsem ede no ye koho na ye de ayaresa the doctor for any nurses any optometrists wo mo hwe ani any dentists e de wo mo kɔ na yakɔhwe wo ma pomuden said ye be ya say ye hwe wo ma pomuden ni wie a na yetumi aka Nyankopɔn asɛm na akyerɛ wɔn na ama ɔmo honhom ne pedue mu ni asetem bibia ayɛ fine.
University of Energy and Natural Resources no omadi infinsia edu ache so ma hye eho efa e wo mayi emom na wo chiremo se 2011 na Act of Parliament 830 wo mugina so ache se suapon wo mbone ye na omampanyi dada John Evans Atamel so wonya ne ba bi kro na ebi esuapon na no fefefe e de ma wo mo wo hyase na wondodo be se wo ha aduonum enan enne wo bro ampim du ene echire kra na eno na Chancellor Oda University of Energy and Natural Resources ano Professor Elvis Asaribedi akon echem say dwumadie ne wo mbedia e de kopim afi awieye na wo mu anya eniema bebre a eche se wo konkan e wo dwumadie a esi wani so emo enso ohaw omu wo bi na eno no mase aban say eniema nkai ankomunya ya wo pe nanso enei wonsa enkan no wonim so odi adesede na to aban nim de enche obehwe wabeso wasene aye e de ama wo Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division womo aye get together na we ye Afia no de e na omde abasobodi adwumadie so ahyehye so.
I've been telling people, especially when I'm talking about BDCs and so, because you are profit-making people. You are there, you have established businesses. Your aim is to make money. By all means, make money. But I've been telling people that your prosperity is meaningful only in the context of a prosperous nation. And when I say this to people, I'll ask them, if I were to give you $1 million to go and live in Afghanistan for 1 month, and I'll give you $20,000 to go and live in America for 1 month, which one would you choose? This is $1 million, it takes you to Afghanistan for 1 month. This is $20,000, it takes you to America for 1 month. So far, everybody that I have asked that question say that they will take the $20,000 and go to America. Then I said, that tells you that your prosperity is meaningful only in the context of a prosperous nation. You do not want to go to Afghanistan even with $1 million because it is not a prosperous nation. It's virtually a collapsed nation. But because America is a prosperous nation, even 20,000 cities is meaningful. So by all means, BDCs, OMCs, let's make money. But let's think also about the nation, because if the nation collapses, our wealth and our prosperity is meaningless.
Na me bo am abaso na ma show mu Ukraine say omo yire omo ho na omo enye say de omo ye Afia etwebu no ina ni ahweye say bi omo bebue omo ani yi na omo ahwe products na bid OMCs no eba be free depots no sabi nyeni na tax ni yepe ebi o ha tax no wo form ti say premix fuel ye de ma fishermen.
Mrashe bedwani owo Asutifi South e wa hafo mantam emo hey honorable Alhaji Collins Dauda waye nyame so adwuma akọ apomuden ayaresabia ro be se enum emwa e wo ne mpesua no eso na wo chema wo se a one foundation for na edi wheelchairs afi empa any office chairs ni tables ni ma bebre na wo mo edi be source apomuden ayaresabia horo a e wo ho ni nyina asene na Ruram so health center enkasem enkan krom Mehame any dade so aba health centers wo nyina e wo Asutifi South mensi mu anyame adom wo manya mu chefa we na wo mra hye bedwani nso de na kita ehonko atayechi ama enedwumede aye krabeshi Yako Asante Mantam emo na Bantima hene bafo owusu amankwatia a otoso ensia nana e de adesede ato aban nim say emre bi atwam nana no hemfo tumi papa yesama wa hemfi aho so bribri on sampa BBS enso enei amanyosem ti sa tumi ni nyina eyira wo se aban ensan enfama hemfi ni bi
Bafo uso mankwati otosu nsia ebebesi asante kotoko hene anamu na se o se tutu otosu mienu ewa apomasu bayira fa hye koso ewo ntotoro so no ase na nanaka se yemu no eno de to Ghana mampanya bedi akiri anim so fanto na ado anim se tumi a enkane na wo nananom nsam a se nkobi din samone na ye to ne nkrase na efre na nka no ho po sesesesese ne sa tumi no akokodi amanyofo nsam no Ghana mampanyin sanhwe onfa konasa hodo wonsa ebetumi asaka won tumi no biem okirimu anne obi din samone mpo na ya to nsa e de afre se nananom efre no na wabo ape kyese wonfa nananom nya tampo na wode wona ahye won se ase.
No serious mobilization in this country can be successful without the involvement of the chiefs. President Nakayo. Now the main person me can say your local areas in chiefs no we've lost our power. Say no your power na near one. You this someone ni pano your power of summons. It's been taken away by Parliament. Parliament afa say who chief, divisional chief. You can't call the policeman to go and arrest anybody. Yeah, free hope. Up to today, it's not been done. But I dare say, I'm free say, yeah, local area no, a honey tea. A hosu, omuna tea kasa. Na yansu ye ba. Omo fariye omu sroye. Enti ye timini omu tili. Na obi wo ho a ubekwa kohia no krase kan na okratuo. Me no edamatimi akofesi no okrase kan. Edamatimi akofesi no okratuo. Edamatimi akofesi no. Ehwo no na bia ye frɛ police se police. Momra na momba boae. Sa tumi na ye woni nyina ma Jeffrey ensem. And they said their number say school now wo ye no enkwara ni free mu ba ahemfa ana ombeda wo ye no free wa ekroi epeja obi ba ha ekwa ba no befa so ba ha antini montofo mo ebebre unse endie ohia bro ye ni bi and this one pass over fire good dia kodia Nessa wo ye yakuma so de man ye de yem fa wo se na obenya srem yenu e kira obenya sai ye nyu ni sa akuntabuo no na ne wo ne sa obama ye ho atoye
Yeko Akuapem South ewe poe mantam emo amanebo ekyere se afi bia edu a ohum afahye no wo mo ehye afi nso de no wo mo ahye na kakra wonya no wo kyerema Twafoman Senior High School eno odi besisi
Ohum afahye afahye bia adehye a wo mo Akuapem South ye wo Eastern Region no wo mo enedie na afi bia no wo mo dwumadie we eboa ama temamufo a wo mo ewo Akuapem South ho no wo mo atimi atumpon na honorable obi amoa wo no na ye mrahye bedwamni ema Akuapem South abato impesua so wakopiem ewo dwumadie no ase de atodwa se sa fundraising ya wo mo epe aboa ama Twafoman Senior High School wo mo atumi apagyamu akọ mani ebe boa papa if the TVET adesua no adesua bako a eboa ema enipa awia wotumi enya ansanu adwuma na ayade bako a eda omampanyi nana adodan kwakufu ado ne naban akoma so pa enu nti no nanigye bebre se nipa wo mo ewo mpotamu ho ahemfo ene timamufo ni nyina no wo mo ani eku ho se wo mo ebeboa mampesua no atumpon ewo adesua kwan so
education ade a president kufuado nani wo ho pa na ndi so just a free senior high no or send you by technical level to be a who we secondary school that technical and about to us a kind of a buy befa hoka parliament ya sha humra and no dey here kese na kind of some no dey be a ka and I can say na what you atwam ya e be a bit roads and highways will be a bit. Be a bit that you say, or more so met my piano. Be a fine who car, so the back piano, Emra. What be a video, you know, I was your evaluation. I'm saying now, Chebesimia, evaluation. In the Chebia, if you contractor, and the kind of man, so on my client. Second, the whole waiting fund, the whole 24 million. Into the second that and it's up. The beardry, no Baba Shassi, I don't know.
Ne krakra no ana odefo oten kranchi ya otoso mienu ya oyo oman hene ema brekusu a ono aso ena ye twafo hene ema Akuapem traditional area enso edi ensem eto yeni.
We see science school ha bebre one yama na 1 to 2 year enti yesre obia we ye brekusu ni ana se nkuru atwa ye ha hie nyina no education father ye ne yambotai titiriw ne se brekusu ayi medimenti kitase sache ne edusa ne ade no ani nkuru atwa hie ni nyina no ye man ko school na that you be engineer, will be a regional minister. And you may be what Nana no Yembre, one Uncle Sababo Madina Edeng, aye.
Yeko amonone ensem emo na Russia fo guswa edi omo mensem he Ukraine fo so na mane bono echiremu a wo mukru a ene Kiev no Russia fo asoma atopa ye akese bese enan ama sede atoto wo ho no esewani ense ka kyekra omanfo ne enim botaye nti a wo mu didi djuma etise yi na United Nations se nanwa de ya bese na wotwentema Russia keka wo e Ukraine fo eso no enipa bebro 1 million se wo nyina aye etukotena for refugees a wo mu adwane afi Ukraine ekobo mo adwa e wa man a woni wo mu ebo ahye no eso na sameka say International Criminal Court mpanyifo so che say dachi bia ho asem beba enti o ma hyase a wo mu ye ensem no kra emu enhwehwemu yejina wei eso ni age aboafo nkrato ye ba bongo difara e de beko agopromaso ye nkomrasisia